Well, I cannot believe I'm making a video on this so soon, but, I have to. I made multiple takes on this video, and this may not be the best one, but, I don't know. I'm just baffled at how out of touch Republican Party truly has become, and to show you how pathetic modern quote-unquote conservatism is. So if you don't know, a couple days ago, the House of Representatives voted to protect same-sex marriage in the case the Supreme Court rescinds it. Now, do they really have the power to do this? That's debatable. But either way, we got votes. We got people in the House of Representatives to vote on this bill that all it really does is repeal the Defense of Marriage Act of 1996, which all it does is just, means if a state wants to deny the right of marriage to a gay couple, but one state doesn't, they don't have to recognize that other state's marriage. They don't have to. So just read up the Bill of Defense of Marriage Act. It's kind of misleading. It just means states don't have to recognize other state laws when it comes to marriage. But that's that. So that's not the issue. The problem is who voted for it. 47 Republicans were stupid enough to vote for this. Luckily, 157 Republicans actually had the gall to vote no. I thought there was going to be a lot of those present votes. A lot of them were going to vote present, bunch of schleps. But I'm surprised. There were a lot of Republicans that admitted, no, we're not going to bend the knee on our cultural values. But 47 quote-unquote Republicans voted yes. And some of these were shocking. I mean, Scott Perry voted yes. Not, a schlep. This is one of the best representatives, I thought at least, in the House of Representatives. He voted yes. Mike Garcia, yes, Democrat district, but relatively speaking, has a very good voting record. Voted yes. With the likes of Liz Cheney. I mean, this is pathetic, what the Republicans did. And this just shows you how much Republicans have really bent the knee on cultural issues. I mean, you can look at it, every cultural issue, maybe outside of abortion. Guns, they're bending the knee on that now. So that's the point. Republicans are starting to bend the knee on every single cultural issue. And it really started with gay marriage. Really, when you really think about it, start with that. I mean, Republicans beforehand, look, I give, Bush and them a lot of crap, but they stood their ground on a lot of these issues. Like, no, we're not bending the knee on gay marriage. We're not going to bend the knee on abortion. We're not going to bend the knee on any of this other crap. Yes, there are Republicans, that were in the Northeast have supported it, but the general consensus of the Republican Party was no, we're not going to bend the knee on cultural issues. But then the early 2010s happened and Republicans just gave up. I don't know what happened, but they gave up on gay marriage. And ever since then, you notice, Republicans have bent the knee on abortion in some cases. I mean, you got some Republicans that are pro-choice now, winning seats in safe red districts. I mean, come on with this nonsense. So yeah, really the gay marriage stuff really started the Republicans bending the knee on cultural issues. And, there's many arguments against gay marriage. Obviously, as many of you know, I see marriage between a man and a woman, alright? But that's not the biggest reason that I think, gay marriage is, illegal in some circumstances. Now, again, when it comes to marriage, the issue is always related to the states. The states always had the right to define marriage, to give out marriage licenses, all that good stuff. They always had the right. That's my argument, the constitutional argument. Nothing in the Constitution says anything, or even intends to say anything about marriage being guaranteed. I mean, seriously, these people that use the 14th Amendment argument, really, during that time, no state allowed gay marriage. I think every state had sodomy laws back then. Again, I could be wrong about that part, but no state had gay marriage laws in place. It was never meant to be about, marriage. It just, really meant about to be for, stuff like slavery, but that's another story. But either way, it's just, it's a very sad thing Republicans have done with bending the knee on gay marriage. And I'm going to show you my argument, all right? I mean, look, you can make the argument that, it's not a moral issue. No, there's nothing in the Bible that says it, which there clearly is. But fine, let's use that argument. There's still the Constitution. All right, the Obergefell versus Hodges decision was a grossly inept decision. And of course, you could thank Ronald Reagan for that one. I mean, look who wrote the majority decision. Good old Kennedy. Thank you a lot, Reagan. Frickin' hack. But either way, this here is nonsense. This entire majority decision, bunch of garbage. I mean, seriously, why? It somehow safeguards children and families? What? This is not what? What? You see the issue with this decision. It makes these absurd assumptions like you need to be married to, have a family. Look, I would recommend that, but nothing's requiring you to be a family. I mean, it's what? Nothing forces you to be a family to raise children, all right? Or I should be married to have a family. Nothing says that. There's a lot of heterosexual couples that aren't married. They have a family. I mean, and it's somehow, gay marriage was always, historically been a keystone of social order. No, it hasn't. Traditional marriage has. Gay marriage has never been that. So this entire decision's nonsense. And I recommend people fully read the minority decision. Again, this is just, kind of brief synopsis, but it gives a good decision. For example, Justice Thomas writes one of the best dissents I've ever seen. I mean, this is a good argument. Here it is. This part here. Essentially, he says the 14th Amendment was wrongly applied here. All right? And the 14th Amendment indicates that they were meant to protect people from physical restraint and from government intervention, the due process clause in both the 5th and 14th Amendment, but they do not grant them the rights of government entitlements. This is a key thing. I mean, this is a huge thing that people need to understand about these due process clause. Yes, they prevent physical restraint and from government intervention. That's the whole point of them. But they don't, that doesn't mean, the government can refuse to grant you government entitlements. I mean, you can make a serious argument about, welfare if you're really pushing this due process clause nonsense. That's the whole thing. I'm just saying, if you apply it here, you can apply it to anything. I mean, that's the whole point, that, marriage is kind of a government entitlement. You can get denied a government entitlement. I mean, look at welfare. That's the whole point that Justice Thomas made. And plus, again, morally, marriage is always between a man and a woman. People that could have kids. And again, Alan Keyes, who ran for the Illinois Senate and ran for president, had a great debate discussion about this. I'll link the video in the description down below. Go watch Alan Keyes' entire thing about it. He makes a great description of why marriage is between a man and a woman. A great video, and of course he's debating a certain Obama. I wonder who that is. But yeah, I mean, you can look at this as a moral argument. That, hey, thousands of years between a man and a woman. And for constitutional argument, nothing the Constitution says about gay marriage and the due process clause really doesn't apply here. So that's the whole point that Republicans need to stop. I mean, you're opening these can of worms that we're seeing it today. I mean, look at schools now. A lot of this gay marriage stuff caused a lot of sexualization in society. It's just a matter of fact. Go look at what happened. 2015, you would never see any of this, what's happening in schools. Now pedophilia is starting to get in the schools. I mean, it's disgusting what's happening. I mean, you have these degenerates, teaching kids about sex education in kindergarten. It's you're disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And that's the thing. It opens this can of worms that it just can't be stopped. That's why Republicans need to truly embrace fighting back on cultural issues. Just look at abortion. They finally grew a pair. Look what happened. They're winning the abortion argument, and they got abortion banned in many states. What if Republicans stood firm on the issue of gay marriage? Think about that for a second. if they would actually stand firm and give a valid argument like, hey, the Bible says nothing about gay marriage, it says it's immoral, and the Constitution flat out says nothing about gay marriage or marriage at all, and make the argument, okay, if gay marriage is so popular, leave it up to the states. That's how you can push back. And again, I think they should use a religious front a little bit more, but just use the idea like, hey, if it's so popular, just let states decide. That is how you can overturn nonsense like this. And that's how they did for Roe versus Wade. They pushed back and used smart, articulated arguments, like Ted Cruz did in front of the Supreme Court, and a few others. It was smart, it was great, and that's how we got rid of Roe versus Wade. Hopefully in the future, we get rid of this disgustingly, flat-out destructive decision. I mean, look, I don't have an issue with gay couples, alright? I just have an issue when you redefine marriage and you open the can of worms for degenerates into society. That's my issue. Anyways, folks, also I should, quick disclaimer before I end this video, I'm not against civil unions. If it's meant for tax purposes, that's what I'm fine with. I have an issue when you redefine marriage. Anyways, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, and yes, of course, go follow that mysterious Twitter account in the description down below. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Godspeed to all of you.